I'm going to apologize for getting this video out a little late. I went to record it the first time and record the entire video with no sound. I can't make up what I was saying watching myself with no voice because I was going to do a voiceover and it was just a mess. So I just decided to just scratch it and then just cut a new fabric and then just re-sewed and re-record the entire video. So you are getting this video with this block being made 3 times. You guys all know that I'm sewing this in a different colorway. So I'm sewing it in both the kit in the blue and I am also sewing it in the yellow. So what I'm sewing today is the yellow colorway, which is going to look like this. And so let's sew this block step by step, and so that's what we're going to do right now. So with that being said, let's start sewing the block. So here are my pieces all cut out. I have this piece right here, fuzzy cut. I've already made some of my half square triangle ahead of time, so that way that will save us a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do now is just stitch the 3/4 inch that we need for our fold over basket parts. I just need one HST and then I have this piece right here. So let's go on ahead and do that. So today I'm using my M7 machine and I have already set it to 1/4 inch right here. And so what I'm going to do is use my 1/4 inch foot for this part. So what I'm going to do now is just put it together and just sew. Make sure that my dark and my light are facing the right direction. So my light is facing up this way and my dark is facing up this way. If you're making your 1/4 inch square triangle the same way I am making it, it is important to have your orientation of your fabric the right way because otherwise it wouldn't come out right. So I need to make sure that my light is facing up that way and then my dark is facing this way. Then I'm going to sew on the right top corner like this. I'm going to just use that leader right there. And then just sew. Why is it so slow? Okay, so we're not gonna do slow, we're gonna do fast. So now that that's finished, I'm going to bring over my nifty ruler here, and then this ruler lets you cut perfect HST all the time. This is amazing ruler. So what I'm gonna do now is just trim like that, and then I'm going to bring this and I'm just going to cut or trim. Now what I'm going to do is just cut down the middle because I know I have my HST right. I'm just going to go ahead and snip, right? So I'm just going to finger press these open, go over with my iron. So now I have both of these done. These are what we're gonna need. By the time I put this together, it's going to make more sense. Our next step is to take all the pieces that we've sewn, the HST and the 1/4 inch squares that we've done. We're going to now assemble all that part and then we're going to put it together and then we're going to sew it. I'm going to take my piece. I have it here fuzzy cut, and then I'm going to take this HST that we previously made, make sure that they are orienting the right direction. I'm going to take our 3/4 inch that we made earlier, so I'm going to flip it going like this. Now this is making sense. Now this part, this one right here is going the other direction. See, this part is going the other direction, but I did one time and then got 2 of them. We are going to take our HST and bring it over like this, right? And then we're going to take this piece, this HST here, we're going to put it like that. And then we're going to take one of our accent piece color, which we're going to put it like so. And then we're going to take this 1/4 inch square that we made earlier, we're going to put it over, and then we're going to make sure that this piece right here is facing upward, just like that. Okay, I'm not sure if you have, yep, there it goes, it's in frame. And then we're going to take this rectangle right here. So we're gonna have it and put it this way. We are going to now stitch all this as like a mini 9-pad. The first thing I'm gonna do is stitch this part and then I'll come back and connect the rest of them. Okay. So now we're just going to connect the pieces here and just sew. So what I'm doing now is making sure that my seams are lined up. And so I'm just going to just put it together and sew this part. I'm just gonna hold it down. Same thing with this seam right here. So the next thing we're doing is taking this last bit. So I wanna make sure that my seam matches here. To be safe, I will go ahead and pin it so that way it stays in place. And then I'm going to sew. And then I'm going to finish up and sew. So here's what we're looking like so far. This is just the inner part of the block. So this is completed. So our next step for this is to take our pieces. You can't really mess it up because one is longer than the other. So what we're doing now is taking our K and putting it on the bottom, and then we're going to take our J and put it on to the side, just like that. All right, so what I'm going to do first is sew the K part and then put J over here, and then we're just going to stitch it and then advance on to our next step. So now I'm just going to come around and sew our piece onto the side, and here we go. The sides are sewn on. I'm not going to press with an iron just yet, because when you're sewing something like this and you're pressing, depending on your technique, it may kind of stretch. So when everything is sewn on, then I will press it flat. So for now, we are moving on to our next step right here. We're just going to sew these two squares together, and we're going to make two mini super tiny HST, and I'm going to make sure I line it up so I can just kind of go from there, and here we go. I've completed the two HST needed for our next step. So what we're going to do now is take this HST and connect it to our C, and here's our D. I want to make sure that I have it in order, so I'm going to leave the letters on, and we are going to take our little square here that matches the HST. We're going to take this HST and we're going to sew it like this to connect to that guy right there. And then for this piece right here, we're going to take our another HST, and we are going to sew our piece going on like this. We're going to sew it just like this. So what I'm going to do is sew this piece first so I don't confuse myself, like the pattern tells us. All right, so we have this already completed, and I'm going to do this right here. So both of them are sewn. I just need to make sure that I have it oriented the right direction before I connect them both. So I'm just going to sew this on like this. I'm just going to go ahead and stitch the strips just so and save time. So we're going to take another strip of our accent color, and we're going to sew the background piece, which is another little rectangle, and we're just going to sew it. So that way when we go to assemble the block, all these pieces will already be sewn together. So now that all of our pieces are all sewn on, I have here my background sewn with the little teeny tiny piece, and I have my accent piece sewn with this rectangle background. So what I'm going to do now is bring back our partially completed block, and then I'm going to assemble my pieces. So I'm going to put this piece on top here, and then I'm going to put this piece on top here. Okay, so we're going to just build on to this. So I'm just going to sew this piece. I'm going to pin here so that way I make sure that this kind of nests together. All right, so now that part is pinned, and then I'm just going to sew. The top and the left sides are completed. I've sewn on my pieces. So it looks curvy right now because I'm not ironing it or pressing it, because when you press with this little strip, it has a tendency to stretch. That's why it kind of looks a little wonky right now. Our next step is to take our side pieces, which is one of our strips right here. We're going to put it onto the side like that, and then we're going to take another one and we're going to put it on top. And then so the next thing we're going to do is stitch them. We're going to do the left side first. I'm just going to pin this two right here in place like that. So I'm just going to pin it Make sure that they match. So next thing we're doing, we're going to take our square piece and we're going to take our smaller square and we're going to just sew onto the corner like this. And then, all right, just like that. So now my smaller square is sewn onto my larger square. I'm just going to lay them on top of each other and cut diagonal, so that way we can complete this block. After sewing your smaller square to the larger square, this plain square should both be exact same size. So what I'm gonna do now is take my ruler and just cut diagonally, and then we're done. So now I have 2 of each. So that's done. And so what we're gonna do now is take our piece that we just cut. We're gonna put one of them like this. We're gonna put the other one like this. We're gonna put all the pieces on the corner of our block. And then we're going to just sew all of it together. Here is block number 5, all completed right here. So what I'm gonna do now is take you over to the wall where I have all the other block set up so I can show them to you. So here's the entire block, all done, completed. I need to show you what they all are looking like. To the right are all the blocks. So this block right here, I have made twice because the first time I made the block, it didn't record. I hit record and there was nothing. So this is the second time that I am making this. So this is the one that comes with a kit. And then this is the one that I have been making. This is what it all looks like so far. I think it looks pretty good. So this is number 5 from the kit. And then this is my number 5 that I'm using my own fabric right here. This is kind of what the contrast looks like so far. My kids said they like the one with the blue. I personally, and I'm impartial, but personally, I like the one in the yellow only because it's bright and it's more like a spring / early summer kind of vibe. And then this one is more of like traditional kind of vibe to me. This is more masculine, but traditional at the same time. This is more summery, springy, more cheery. And so let me just kind of come around now and kind of swing you over like that. So these are all the blocks and this is what they're looking like. You can kind of see I try as much as I could to kind of stay with the theme of the colors. I used dark when I had to, and I used light where I needed to. It's consistent with the kit, but I'm using my own colors. And so that's all I have for you today. I hope you are having a great day and I would love to see you in my next video.